Jones, remove these snacks. I need a place to sit down.
June complained, but Jones totally ignored her, stuffing his face with the bowls of popcorn, chips, fruits, veggies, and hummus that he used to fill the whole sofa. June ran to the kitchen.
Mom, Jones won't create a space on the sofa for me and our show is about to start. What show?
Her mom asked.
Don't you know, Mom? It's December with the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗠𝗘.
Her mom rolled her eyes, went to the living room, and removed all the snacks from the sofa. They carried them and sat down. The show began. What they didn't know was that this year, December with the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗠𝗘 was going to change the lives of the whole world forever, theirs included. Hello, my name is Martha 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓, and today, I'm going to be telling you about my crazy rich life and how I became a millionaire without anybody's help, despite the fact that I was still a cute, tiny baby. Before we proceed, hit the like button if you ever want to become a millionaire. Subscribe and turn on post notifications if you ever want to become a billionaire. Now, let's continue. I will start from the very beginning, when I was just a fetus in my mother's belly. So grab a popcorn and enjoy the ride. My family had a popular reality show called the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓, where they shared their whole life, like normal reality TV. Some parts of it were acted, but people knew and still loved the show. The 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓 was the most popular reality TV show in the whole world, and this made my parents and their whole family millionaires quickly. But my story is about how I became a millionaire without their help. Just my cuteness and some life circumstances. Every December, my family ran a special set of episodes called December with the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓. This particular show was unfiltered. There was no acting, and everything was shot raw. It was more like a live TV show with no editing or anything like that. Our audience loved this segment, and even people who usually didn't watch our show throughout the year always tuned in for this one. On the third day of our special show that year, something unexpected happened. My mother, Brenda 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓, the richest and most popular of all the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓s, who was pregnant with me at the time, got into a terrible argument with her brother-in-law, Smart 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓. He had taken on our family name when he married my aunt.
You good-for-nothing fat woman!
He reacted.
Me?
My mom asked.
If anyone is a good-for-nothing here, it's you. Freaking gold digger.
On hearing the words gold digger, which was the worst thing you could ever call Smart, he picked up his muscular hand and gave my mom a life-changing punch. He obviously reacted without thinking and didn't take into consideration the fact that he was punching a pregnant woman. The pain triggered some pregnancy complications, and in less than 5 minutes, my mother was on the floor, shaking, and as everyone tried to lift her up and get her to the hospital, everything was being recorded and the whole world was watching. With the way my mom was shaking, everybody had almost given up on both of us. Nobody believed we would survive the hospital visit. Fans gathered around the hospital and did vigils. People around the world were praying for us and posting it on social media. The whole world went on a standstill, hoping and waiting for us to come out safely. The cameramen were everywhere and got everything. Some were downstairs recording the fans. Some were in the hospital room recording my mother in terrible pain. Some were getting all the prayer videos from social media and compiling them for live TV, while others followed and recorded Smart as he was arrested and taken to prison. After one long week of painful labor, my mother finally gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The delivery process was caught on live TV, and the whole world was elated. Everyone had suggestions for my name. Strange names like Survivor and Strong Woman were flying around. My mom ignored everyone and said,
I'll call you Martha, because you've proven that you're unique, just like your late great-great-grandmother. You will be her namesake.
While we were still at the hospital, brands and businesses already started reaching out, saying they wanted to work with me. I was assigned a manager who negotiated the offers and got the best deals for me. Before leaving the hospital, I was already worth $10 million personally. A few weeks after leaving, it became $50 million. Everyone wanted to work with me. Born as the most popular baby in the whole world, I had to struggle with the advantages and disadvantages of living in luxury. One of these disadvantages was from my uncle's family. Smart had been arrested immediately after the assault and was sentenced to jail for attempted murder. and was supposed to spend 10 years in prison, but 5 years with good behavior for almost killing one of the most famous celebrities in the whole world and her baby. His family hated the 𝗘𝗓𝗓𝗠s for ruining his life and swore to get back at us. And they did. The next year, during another month of December with the 𝗘𝗓𝗓𝗠s, they were able to break into the house. Somehow, they were able to spray a gas that sent everyone in our house to sleep. Once we were all asleep, they took me and left the country. When I woke up, I was so scared and confused. I was surrounded by strange-looking men, all wearing black, and I didn't even know where I was. I started wailing.
Shut that baby up!
The scariest one screamed. This guy was so huge, he literally looked like the Hulk. One of them picked me up from the carton I was placed in and started trying to cradle me. He smelled like sweat, smoke, and fear. I cried even more. He kept trying to keep me quiet, even got me a lollipop, but the more he tried, the more I cried. He got tired and wrapped a dirty cloth around my mouth, muffling my cries, dropped me back in the carton with a blanket and said,
"Now, be a good girl and you may just see your family again."
He winked and let out a loud laugh.
Nah, just kidding. You'll never see them again.
They all burst into laughter this time. Back at home, everyone had finally woken up. My mom walked drowsily to the nursery to pick me up, but I wasn't there. She immediately ran to the living room downstairs, hoping that someone in the family was holding me, but she couldn't find anyone. She found a letter instead.
Brenda, we've taken your dear Martha. Now you'll know what it feels like to lose someone. If you want to see your stupid baby again,
Bring 10 billion to Venezuela. I will know when you arrive. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I'm sure you can.
You're the richest person I know. Sell your house or something. You have 3 days.
My mom fainted and woke up in the hospital.
What? What's happening?
She asked, confused. My dad was holding her hand.
B, you know you're accident prone. You fainted and hit your head on a table. You started bleeding and we had to rush you here. I read the letter they dropped, and I've taken a loan from the bank. We'll figure out how to pay it back later. I'm leaving for Venezuela with a jet immediately. I don't think you should come with us. You need to rest. It will be very dangerous. We can't predict what will go down.
Mom laughed out loud.
You must be kidding. Get my clothes.
Dad smiled and got her clothes.
You're too stubborn, but I love you anyway. Now, let's go get our girl.
And with that, they left for Venezuela, Dad holding Mom and caressing her bandaged head. Immediately, they arrived at the private airport. A few guys surrounded them. One of them said,
hand me the suitcase.
We will only do that when our daughter is safely delivered to us.
My dad replied. The guy smirked.
You like to play, huh?
Another guy interrupted and said,
Follow me, sir and ma'am.
He led them into a black SUV and blindfolded them. My dad held on to the money suitcase for dear life. He didn't want anyone dragging it from his hands because he couldn't see a thing. The car later stopped and they were ushered into some place. The blindfolds were finally taken off and they realized that they'd been taken to a rooftop. Dean, Smart's elder brother, smirked at them.
Mr. and Mrs. 𝗘𝗓𝗓𝗠, richest couple in the world, right? Where's my money?
Where's my baby?
My mom asked.
Dean, what's all this about? We used to be friends. You didn't need to go this far. You can stop all this now, and we will forgive you for everything.
My dad tried, honestly concerned for Dean.
I want my baby.
My mom screamed.
Shut up, you two. Friends. Friends send each other to prison, right? Have you even cared to know just how our family has been surviving since you got him incarcerated? We're not friends. We will never be, so just be quiet. Hand me the money and you'll get Martha.
Sally, Smart's sister, came out from a hidden door. She was holding me. My mouth was still covered with a dirty cloth. My mom tried to run towards me, but Dean stopped her.
Money first,
he interjected. My mom grabbed the suitcase from my dad and ran towards Dean. She gave him the money and started running towards me, a huge, relieved smile on her face. Before she could get to me, though, I felt myself being swung. I was thrown from the roof of a skyscraper down to my death.
No!
My dad and mom screamed in unison, but before they could do anything, they were both shot twice in the chest and tumbled downward.
This is for Smart!
They screamed as they shot my only parents. The kidnappers followed a secret passageway that led to an underground tunnel. From there, they were able to sneak a few blocks away until they got to the spot where their car was parked. They got into the car and sped off, heading to the airport. On getting to the airport, they were confronted by the police, who handcuffed them and recovered the stolen money from them. The money was sent back to the bank. The kidnappers were arrested and sent back to the United States for questioning and trial. On the first day of trial, they all kept denying what they did.
What in the world makes you think that we could ever commit such an offense? She's our niece, for crying out loud. We could never hurt her.
Sally kept repeating.
But you can hurt her parents, shooting them twice in the chest?
Our lawyer asked. Sally rolled her eyes and said,
I could never hurt those fools, as much as they deserve it.
December with the 𝗕𝗓𝗠𝗪𝗓 cameramen were covering the whole trial process, and the whole world was saying that the kidnappers should be hanged or electrocuted for killing their favorites.
Are you aware, Sally, that there were some cameramen that covered the whole incident? You were actually caught on camera, killing a whole family.
Our lawyer asked again. Sally, Dean, and Michael looked at each other, sheer panic written on their faces. It took Sally a few seconds to regain her composure, but then she did and said,
Everyone knows reality TV shows are heavily edited. They can put anything in there.
Our lawyer laughed.
Even in December with the 𝗕𝗓𝗠𝗪𝗓? A live show? Come on, Miss Sally.
Of course.
Sally replied.
The technological advancements these days are crazy.
It was finally time to cross-examine Michael, the last brother and kidnapper, the evil dude who put a dirty cloth around my mouth to make me stop crying and the dumbest one in Smart's family. As he was about to speak, my parents came inside the courtroom carrying me. They were all unbelievably astounded.
What are you?
Are you ghosts?
How are you alive?
We killed you all!
There. Mr. Lawyer, I guess you have your confession.
My mom smiled and left with her family. Smart's siblings were convicted of conspiracy, breaking and entry, kidnapping a minor, extortion, armed robbery, and attempted murder. They were each given life sentences. Smart wasn't given a life sentence because he wasn't aware of the conspiracy. Apparently, the kidnappers didn't know that my parents were wearing bulletproof vests, so the bullets couldn't kill them because the vests stopped them. They also didn't know that my parents were wearing mics in their teeth, so the cops could hear everything. Immediately, the cops realized that my parents were at a rooftop. They suspected that someone would end up falling or being thrown off, most likely the baby, me. And so, they surrounded the building with a soft, bouncy foam. It was more like a bouncing castle outside the building. I fell right into this stuff, and I was saved. There was absolutely no scratch on my body. A cop gently picked me up, removed the dirty cloth from my mouth, and took me to my parents, who had gotten the bullets out of their vests. They were so happy, but my kidnappers had already fled.
Never worry, sir and ma'am. My team at the airport and all around have been informed. They're on the lookout. Your daughter's kidnappers will be arrested in no time.
We were all safe, sound, and without a scratch. But guess what the best part was? The whole world watched everything as it unfolded because it was December. This made me even more popular. I was on the news in every country. Netflix contacted my family. They wanted to make a movie out of my life, and they wanted me and my family to act out exactly how it happened. You know we accepted. We were paid millions upon millions. More brands wanted to work with me, and every interviewer wanted to hear my story, even as I grew up and got older. In a very short time, I moved from being worth millions to being worth billions. Did you enjoy my crazy story? Tell me your favorite part in the comments section. Please like and subscribe for more amazing content, and don't forget to watch another mind-blowing story on our channel. We have a lot of them. And that's it for me. Ciao for now.
On my 7th birthday, I climbed onto the chair to blow the candles on my cake when suddenly I felt someone pull a hair out of my head. Ow! I turned around to see that it was my older sister, and she was staring at the hair in horror. Oh my God, Mom! Bonnie has inherited the problem from you! You shush! Everyone, sing the birthday song now! Happy birthday to you! What just happened? Later that night, Mom inspected my head like I had lice, and it turns out I had a few white hair. Big deal! But by my next birthday, half my head had turned white. I thought I was transforming into some cool superhero, but Mom totally freaked. She had organic hair dyes imported from Brazil every month to color my hair a lovely deep brown. No one knew anything about my hair until I was 14, when suddenly everything changed. Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I have a condition called 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓𝗧, which makes your hair suddenly turn white. Being different makes bullies think you're an easy target, but I showed them that I was not. Before I continue, click like and subscribe. The thing is, my parents used to be super rich, and we'd always live in a huge mansion and attend private schools. My oldest brother was a party animal, and my older sister's life revolved around shopping, salons, and changing boyfriends like clothes. But then, Dad lost all his money in a scam, and in a matter of days, we'd moved from our beautiful house to a tiny apartment in another town. Dad became super depressed and watched TV all day, and Mom was doing her best to support us all. But my siblings could just not stop complaining. I had to share a room with my sister, and she wouldn't even let me sleep on the bed. One night, she was sobbing so loudly about how poor we were, I dragged my mattress into the bathroom and slept there. Peace at last. The one thing Mom insisted wouldn't change was sending us to a private school. I felt bad she was working so hard for us, and I really wished I could do something to help. Dad dropped us off on the first day of school, and as soon as I walked in, I felt someone pull me by my backpack. I turned around to see a pretty girl grinning at me. OMG, was that guy your dad? He's the millionaire who was all over the news for losing his fortune. So you guys are like, poor, right? Of course not. You have me confused with someone else. I tried to walk away, but she blocked me. Julia is never wrong about these things. Julia reads tabloid magazines cover to cover every day. Wait a second. Julia can see some white hair. Grandma? Everyone started staring at my hair. I was so embarrassed that I ran home to dye my hair. Thankfully, I had a big stock saved up. When I got home, I walked into our room to find my sister screaming at her empty closets. My bags! My shoes! My babies! Where are they? Just then, I saw my cupboard door hang open. Oh no! Oh my God! Where are all my hair dyes? We turned to each other. Our brother! We ran to his room and found him practically rolling in money. Turns out he'd sold all our stuff online. I wouldn't have cared if he had stolen my clothes, but I was really upset about my hair dyes. There was nothing I could even do except vent my frustration in my journal. I started writing stories featuring my crazy family. One night, when my sister was talking to her boyfriend on the phone, she had to pee, so she asked me to take the phone and say, to everything he said till she returned. That's when I heard him talking about a website called Wattpad, where anyone could publish their stories. So I started sending in the ones I'd written about my family, under a fake name, of course. Otherwise, my siblings would kill me. To my absolute delight, people loved my stories. I was flooded with comments from fans, and I would even hear kids talking about them at school all the time. The best part, people started messaging me for paid writing jobs. This was perfect. I could actually help Mom doing something I loved. While my online popularity was rising, things weren't so great at school. My hair had turned completely white by now, and that gave Julia all the more reason to bully me. And no one dared to be friends with me because of her. But that gave me another idea. I started following her around and started writing stories about all her boyfriends. Once I saw her kissing the captain of the soccer team, right after she went on a date with the class president. And then the next day, she made out with the captain of the swim team. I was so surprised, I accidentally tripped and fell out of the bushes I was hiding in. As soon as Julia saw me, she looked furious. Are you stalking me, you pervert? No, I was just picking berries. I grabbed a fistful and stuffed them in my mouth and then gagged. They were so bitter. Julia stepped close to me. I don't know what you're playing at, but you should know I'm not into girls, you weirdo. Then she walked away while I sat in the bush, and everyone eyed me like I was a creep. The next few weeks were brutal. No matter what I did, Julia was there calling me a perv or a weirdo. She told everyone I was crushing on her. A few days later, I was sitting in the cafeteria when Julia came up and dumped a bag on me. Take these hair dyes. You look like a homeless old woman, and this school has a reputation. Just stop embarrassing us with this hair, Bonbon. As her minions snickered, I rose from the table and pushed the bag away and stood up to leave. Leave me alone, Julia, or else. Aw, I'm so scared. And what will you do, huh? Then she and her minions took out all the dyes and dumped them on my hair. Blue, black, red, purple, everything. I pushed them back and yelled, "What have you done, you psycho?" I slapped Julia right in the face and ran to the bathroom. My hair looked like turd. I washed it and thankfully all the color came off. I was so mad that I went home and wrote a story where I gave Julia the lesson I wished she would get in real life. As soon as I published it, I received a message on my Wattpad account from a fan, ID-free prisoner. I love all your stories, especially the bully story, so I just had to message. Your characters are so relatable. I guess we both were stuck with crazy people. We started exchanging messages more often, and I felt like I'd finally made a friend. One day at the school cafeteria, I was writing crazy fast to meet my deadline, and I didn't even realize it when someone came and sat next to me, pushing a can of juice towards me. "Can I get you something to eat? You look like you're on a mission to save the world." I looked up, and for a few seconds, I was so lost in his dreamy blue eyes, I'm pretty sure I looked like a dumb puppy. "Hi, I'm Eric. Do I know you?" "No, but I know you. You're kinda hard to miss with that hair." "I know you think my hair is weird." "No, I think it's amazing. You look really cool." I stared at him in shock. Who was this boy? I wanted to talk to him more, but just then, I got a message from Free Prisoner. "I think I'm falling for you. You're just so incredible." Oh my god, he had a crush on me? The next day, while I was working in the library, it got really late. Everyone was gone and I only looked up when I heard a noise. I felt freaked out. Just then, I saw Eric walking towards me. "I'm beginning to think you're stalking me." Eric laughed and said, "Yeah, maybe. But also, I work here, and I was about to lock up. Want me to walk you home?" "Yes, please." Eric was so funny and adorable. He insisted on walking me home every time. I was definitely attracted to him, and it made me feel a little confused. What was I gonna do about Free Prisoner? One day, Free Prisoner asked me out on a date. I agreed. I needed to see who he really was. When I arrived at the address, my jaw dropped. It was a mansion bigger than ours used to be. I was greeted at the front door by a butler, who then led me to a large drawing room. And there were lit candles and flowers everywhere. At the far end was a high chair, and when someone suddenly spoke, "I've been dying to meet you." Wait, why was this voice so familiar? When the girl stepped in front of me, we both stared in horror at each other and shrieked. It was Julia! You're Free Prisoner? You're the frickin' writer I have a crush on? You have a crush on me? Julia looked insane. Of course not. How could I have a crush on you? You're gonna pay for this, Bonnie. Now get out of my house. I was only too glad to. I couldn't believe the person I'd been friends with for months was crazy Julia. And by the next morning, I walked into the most horrific scene. The school hallways were full of posters of me. They read, "The White Witch Can't Be Trusted." Everyone in school knew the writer was me. Julia was going around telling everybody how I was a terrible person who wrote mean stories about her family and kids from school just to get popular. Why would we want to be friends with someone like her? She can't be trusted. She'll be writing all kinds of things about us. Freak! But even worse than everybody suddenly hating me at school, I was in so much trouble back home. My siblings were so mad about the stories I wrote about them. "We know we tease you, but we never thought you could be so mean." Guys, it's not like that. I never meant for anyone to know who those characters were. But they wouldn't listen to my protest and stopped talking to me. Later that night, Mom came to my room and asked me why I'd been writing these stories. I handed an envelope to her from my drawer. "I only wanted to help you out, Mom." She let out a cry when she saw the cash inside. "Bonnie, you're a kid. You don't need to worry about money. I'm not going to take this. How about we use it for your hair?" "Yeah, Mom. Let's do this, I guess." The next day, I decided to fix everything. I went up to the stage during morning assembly and nervously cleared my throat. I just wanted to say sorry to my siblings and anyone else who might have been hurt or offended by my stories. I only used you guys as inspiration, and you made such interesting characters. But it wasn't right of me to use anyone's secrets, and I won't be writing on Wattpad anymore. As I ran out of the auditorium, someone caught up with me. It was Eric. "Hey, that writer is you? Oh man, your stories are hilarious! I wanted to ask you something a long time ago. Will you be my girlfriend?" I grinned and pulled him in for a kiss. From the corner of my eye, I saw Julia storming off, and I followed her to the girls' bathroom. "What do you want, freak?" "I just wanted to say, you and I have been friends for months online. We can actually get along. Why can't we be friends for real, Julia?" She started to laugh. "Friends? Oh, babe, how is that even possible? Look at your face, and your personality, and your ugly hair. I give charity to the poor. I don't befriend them." "Well, look around you, Julia. I don't think you have any real friends. I'm here if you change your mind." And then I started to walk away. "Don't hold your breath!" Well, after that, things got a little better because my siblings forgave me, especially when they realized my stories hadn't affected their popularity one bit. I stopped writing and spent all my time with Eric, who asked me out to prom. That night, I went home with a big smile on my face. Mom was waiting for me to dye my hair, and then I said, "You know what, Mom? I like my white hair. I'm born to stand out. Why should I try so hard to fit in? It's cool to be different." Mom smiled and hugged me. "I'm so proud of you, Bonnie." Next day, when Julia found out that Eric and I were nominated for prom king and queen, she completely lost it. She went too far. On the night of the prom, she started throwing a huge tantrum and even tried to snatch my crown. "That's mine! I'm the only queen this school has. Not this ugly beggar with the ugliest hair I've ever seen." When the principal intervened, Julia called her an old hag and dumped the whole bowl of punch on her. An hour later, she was expelled. Even though so many of the others laughed, I felt sorry for her because I knew there was a nice person inside her. But all her insecurities just made her a big bully. After that, high school was not so crazy. I got a scholarship for a writing program, and 4 years later, I joined a publishing house as a book editor. Fast forward a few years, and I'm married to Eric now, with 2 beautiful kids. And they are the only ones